Now, when you got to his apartment, how was he acting? Tell us about his, tell me about his demeanor. You know what I mean by that, Mr. Edwards?
Yes,
how was he acting?
Just like a normal, everyday person, you know, friendly, good conversationalist. He was talking about the military, things of that nature. Yeah.
What's up, guys? True Crime King back. How we doing on this Sunday morning? Hope everybody's doing well. All right, so we got we got a crazy one this morning, and very interesting. So we're going to be listening to a survivor of Jeffrey Dahmer, who was actually in his apartment, in Jeff's apartment, taken there, had beers, was given a rum and coke that was laced, right, with some kind of drugs. His name is Tracy Edwards. So we're going to listen to exactly what happened. This is his court testimony. And, you know, straight from his mouth. And I find it fascinating, you know, what actually happened when Jeffrey Dahmer took people back to his house, right? So here we go. Buckle your seatbelts.
Had you been in the military?
My father retired in the Air Force, so I've been to several different bases. I was born on an Air Force Army base in Fort Carson.
So that's the kind of thing you were talking to him
It's
about.
like a family thing, you know, so I know a lot about it.
Had he been drinking alcohol?
Yeah, I consumed some. He was drinking beer at the time. When I
Well, the time that you were like going to his apartment, was he intoxicated?
No.
Had he been drinking?
Yeah, I've been drinking a couple of beers.
How about you? Were you intoxicated?
No, not at all.
Had you had something to drink?
I sipped maybe a little beer, my friend's beer, that was it. Yeah.
So he was lured there because Jeff was going to take some sort of pictures of him, I think posing naked. Remember, this gentleman was gay, or is gay, and Jeff was, I don't know, he's just crazy, right? But that's how he lured people back to his house. He lured people that needed money, yeah, and were gay, right? He went to gay bars, and then told him he would give him money, and didn't give him any money. You know what he did.
But now you get to the apartment. Do you go in the back way?
Yes, correct.
You went up to the apartment. Tell us what happens when you get up to the apartment. Tell us what you observed, what your senses told you.
Okay, first of all, it seemed like a normal apartment. When we got inside, he turned off burglar alarms. I asked him why. First, it was a foul odor, okay?
Tell us about that. What kind of an odor?
It was just like an odor. I didn't quite know what it was. You know, he told me a sewer pipe had broke and management would take care of it.
Okay, so we know that odor was dead bodies decomposing in his big drums full of muriatic acid, right? But I mean, if he tells people a sewage pipe broke, they're gonna believe it, right? I mean, they don't know any better, right?
Yeah.
And did you accept that?
Yes, because I worked around at construction companies before, and when pipes bust, sewer pipes bust, they smell. Yeah.
And I'm sure he's never smelled a dead body before this, right? So he wouldn't know the difference either way, right? I've never smelt a decomposing dead body, right? Have you? Any, right? Most people haven't. right? And that's a good thing, right?
Okay.
So I brought that.
So you see, your first thing you did was notice the odor. He opened the door to the apartment?
Yes.
And you walked in.
Yes.
He turned off something. What did he turn off?
Alarms.
Did you ask him about that?
Yeah, and he said the part of the neighborhood he was in, he was protecting his property, things like that, cameras, VCRs, TVs, things of that nature.
Did you accept that?
Yes, I did.
That's kind of weird because in his apartment where he was at, I know his neighbors. I was doing some more research. None of them had any extra burglar alarms, right? I mean, the apartment complex, you needed a key to get past the first door to get in there anyway, right? He just wanted him on there because obviously he knows what is in his apartment, right? He don't want anybody seeing that.
After getting in the apartment, can you generally describe the apartment, both the apartment that you saw then and the apartment that the other parts of the apartment you saw? Tell the jury what the apartment was like.
It was like normal, pretty decent apartment, had nice things in it. You know, it had certain boxes sitting on the front, neurotic acid boxes. I asked him about it. He said he cleaned bricks with those, you know, which you can use that type of acid to clean bricks, so I brought that also.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you just said. You asked him about some boxes?
Yeah, that were laying in the front living room floor.
And what did he tell you about those?
That he cleaned brick with the neurotic acid.
Okay.
So he had boxes of muriatic acid. Boxes of it, right? That it's not normal. Nobody. First of all, if you are cleaning something with that, right, it would be stored at your company's safe location, not at your freaking apartment, right? So that's the first major red flag that Mr. Tracy Edwards would have noticed. I guess the burglar alarms and the smell weren't really red flags so far because he doesn't know any better, right?
Now, was the apartment small, large, medium? What? Give us the size.
Kind of medium size. Yeah.
All right. Now, when you went in there, you went in as you entered? Were you in the living room?
Yes.
And what was the living room? What did you see in there? The boxes you told us about?
The boxes is a couch. There's a fish tank there also. A black lamp. Yeah, there was a little table-like on the left side.
Could you see a refrigerator? Or
yeah, I could see the refrigerator on my left.
was it close to the living room?
Yeah, maybe 8 feet from the living room.
And so it was just off the living room?
Right.
Now, did you stay in that room or did you go to another room right away?
We stayed in that room for a while.
And where did you sit, if you did?
Okay, at the end of the sofa like I am now, this is a sofa. I was at this end, and he was at this side.
Referring to the jury, a witness box, if that were a sofa, he would be at that end. That is the end where he's seated on the witness stand, which would be the part closest to the judge. Is that right?
That's correct.
And where did Mr. Dahmer, what did he do?
He sat like here, maybe a couple feet from me.
Not
my
close
left.
to you?
Maybe 2 feet.
You in fear of anything at that time?
Not at all.
Okay, and what did the two of you do?
Okay, he said we were still talking, chatting, you know. He asked me, was I interested in doing the photography? You know, I told him I was still contemplating, so therefore he offered me a beer and a rum and coke mixture at that point.
Okay, so far everything's going smooth. He thinks everything is fine. He's not in any fear at all, right? And we know when Jeff makes these rum and cokes, he puts some kind of drug in there, some kind of sleeping thing that makes him pass out, right?
Now, you're fully clothed.
Yes.
Okay, and you're sitting on a couch.
Right.
And he talks to you about this posing, you weren't sure you were going to do it.
Right.
How much had you been offered to do the posing?
$100.
Okay. And when he brings you the beer, he brings you rum and coke?
Yeah, he brings the beer first, and then he brings the rum and coke.
How big of a glass?
Maybe that big. Yeah.
About 4 inches high?
About 4 inches, yeah, 3.5, something like that.
Did you ever taste it?
Yeah, I took a few sips.
Was it strong, weak, medium, or just about right?
I'm not a big liquor drinker, so it didn't taste that good to me. I don't.
Didn't taste good to you? You don't?
That means it wasn't strong or weak. It had a freaking drug in it that's gonna make you go sleep, right?
I don't know if it was strong or not.
It's strong or not, no, because
What did Mr. Dahmer do? Did he likewise have a drink?
No, I think, yeah, right, a beer, but I don't think he drank all of his drink at that time.
Did he have any rum with him?
I just noticed the beer, right.
What time?
Yeah, he didn't have a rum and coke because he's not drugging himself, right?
Time are we talking about now that you're sitting on the couch and you get the beer? You got over there about what time and how long after this?
It was about before 7, quarter to 7, something like that.
So you're sitting on the couch, he brings you a beer and rum and coke, what happens?
Okay, then we just study talking and everything, you know.
General talk?
General talk.
What happens?
Yeah, then I was just, I don't know, getting a little agitated maybe, you know, because of the smell and things. And then he threw my conversation off talking about the fish in the fish tank, you know.
Okay, when you start talking about the fish in the fish tank, do you bring that up or does he?
He does.
And what do you do when he does that?
I turn to the right, like the fish tank is here, I'm turning all the way over here.
You turn to your right to look at it?
To look at the fish tank, right.
And when that happens, what happens to you?
All of a sudden a handcuff and a knife is pulled on me.
Okay, so Jeff he talks about the fish tank on purpose, right? Because he wants Mr. Edwards to look away. And then as soon as he does, Jeff pulls out handcuffs and a freaking big ass knife. So it changes like that. He has no time to react at all, right? He's surprised, right? That's how people get you, right? That's how Kohberger did it. He surprised them, right? While they were in their beds.
Yeah.
Handcuff is placed on your body? Where?
On my left wrist.
And you see a knife?
Yeah, the knife, yeah.
Now, at that moment, what do you do?
First I feel fear, then I ask him what's going on, you know. This is not necessary, you know, to pull a knife on me at that.
Are you afraid?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to know why he did that?
None whatsoever.
Did you have any idea at that time it was going to happen?
No.
Tell me about his demeanor at that time when you looked and realized he had a knife and you in a cuff. You were only cuffed on one wrist.
One wrist, yeah.
What was happening to the other part of the handcuff?
Okay, he had it in his hand.
He was holding it?
Holding that in the wrist, yeah.
Where was the knife?
So he couldn't run away, right? He had a handcuff on, and then Jeff was holding the other handcuff with his hand, and the knife in his other hand.
In the other hand?
The knife was like he had here. The knife was in his hand. He had it on me like this.
Let the record reflect he was holding the knife in his right hand as he showed it, holding the cuff in his left hand. Is that right? And your left hand is cuffed?
Yeah, right.
Where do you have the knife? What kind of a knife was it?
It was like a military knife, a machete of some type. You know, he had lower right up under my rib cage. You know.
Military. It was probably like a K-bar knife, right? It was probably a knife that was designed to kill people.
So you had
it somewhere in the back here.
You had it pointed at your ribcage.
Yeah.
Did you feel it? Touch
yeah,
it?
he had it on me. He had it against my body.
What happened? What was going through your mind the moment that happened when you realized you had a knife at your side and a handcuff on your hand? What did you think?
I think, like, you know, what's going on, you know? This guy is so nice, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like he's pulling knives and handcuffs and all on me, you know?
I think Mr. Edwards just is a little naive. What's going on is he's about to try and kill you, right? If that ever happened to me, I would immediately start fighting, right? Or getting the hell out of there. I wouldn't just sit there and ask what's going on. But it worked out for him. He's still alive, but let's keep going.
What'd you do? What'd you say to him?
I asked him what the problem was, that it's not necessary to do this,
What'd he say?
He told me at that point if I wouldn't do what he said, he would kill me,
Now, tell us about his demeanor at the time that you look at him and you say, what's going on? You don't have to do this. What happens to Mr. Dahmer? What's he like?
It's like not the same person that we met at Grand Avenue Mall.
How does he different?
His face structure seemed different, his body structure is like it wasn't him anymore, It's like it was a totally different guy there.
That's scary. That is scary, right? And it's not like he was like pounding alcohol, right? He's just a crazy dude, right? Just like that. From super normal to a psycho killer in a split second.
So he told you if you didn't do what he told you to do, he'd hurt you.
He'd hurt me.
What'd you do? What happened? Tell us what happened step by step as best you can remember.
And then all of a sudden he kind of calms down, and then he said he has a key in the bedroom, so we proceed to the bedroom.
The key to the handcuffs?
Right.
So you believed he was going to take them off?
Yeah. At that point I had to go along with this guy, and then if I had to find out, so I walked back there with him. He kind of guides me back there,
Guides you back with the cuff and the knife?
Yeah, right.
And remember, when this happened, Mr. Edwards was very small, very small. So, and Jeff was tall, right, and had a weapon. So he probably really couldn't do anything, right? And he had a handcuff on his wrist and a knife against his rib cage, right? So he's at the mercy of Mr. Dahmer now.
And you go into the bedroom.
Right.
What do you see in the bedroom?
A big, about 50, 60 gallon drum barrel, whatever.
Did you ever see a 50, 60 drum barrel in anybody's bedroom before?
Not at all.
Do you have any idea? Did you ask him what it was?
No. At that point I asked no questions at that time.
Was there a bed in that room?
Yes.
How was the bed? Was it made, unmade?
It was unmade.
What did you see on the bed, if anything?
Something like a stain of whatever on the bed.
What did you think it was?
At that point in time, I wasn't sure.
What?
If you can see a stain on the bed, right? I mean, when you're having sex, right, the stain isn't really visible, right? He didn't say what color it was, but it can't be anything good if you can see a big stain, right?
What did you do when you got in the bedroom as he's holding on to the cuff and the knife? What did you do?
Studied us talking, trying to be friends with him,
Did you remain standing? Did you sit down?
He made me sit down at that point. We both sit on the bed.
Was it at the foot of the bed, side of the bed, head of the bed?
Maybe halfway between.
Did that room have a TV set in it?
Yes.
Was there anything going on the TV?
Yeah, the Exorcist movies was playing at that time.
There was an Exorcist movie on?
Yeah.
You know which one of them?
The name I'm not sure. I think it's 3. I'm not sure which one.
So there was a movie. Did you?
That's creepy as hell, right? You're handcuffed. You got a psycho killer holding the handcuff. There's a big drum, a 50, 60 gallon drum. There's a stain on the bed. You got a knife against your back. And The Exorcist is playing. I mean, talk about your worst nightmare, right? Holy crap.
You know it to be part of television or VCR?
VCR, normally that's not on regular television, so I thought it was VCR.
You knew there was...
And for all you young bucks out there, right? A VCR is a big black thing, and you put it in the VCR player, and it plays a movie.
There's a movie showing.
Right.
Did you see him put it on, or was it on?
No. When we first got into the apartment, he went through the back to the back bedroom. Maybe he put it on then. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then what happened? You're both sitting on the bed?
Yes.
Are you still in handcuffs?
Yes.
Is he holding the handcuff?
Right.
Do you still have the knife?
Right.
Is it pointed at your side as you've told us before?
Right.
You trying to be cool?
Very much so.
You're not fighting with him?
No.
What's your intention? What are you planning on doing?
Getting away. I was contemplating on at the point jumping out the window. You know, I was basically talking with this person, trying to let him know I was his friend. Yeah.
He's in survival mode, right? Survival mode. He's on autopilot, just looking for some way to get out.
As you were sitting there on the bed, when he had you by the handcuff and a knife at your side, at that time, which would have been maybe 7 o'clock,
Something like that.
what impression was made upon your mind by the conduct, action, manner, expression, and conversation that you observed of Mr. Dahmer?
His frame of mind is what you want to know, right? Okay, he acted. At times he would go through like different changes with me, you know.
Tell us about that.
1 minute he's like nice, and then he was telling he didn't want people to leave him or abandon him, things of this nature, you know. Yeah.
Well, what did you think about him as a person? What impression was made on your mind of this fellow that you're dealing with here?
Yeah, that at times he wasn't himself, and then at times he was like a nice guy, you know. He would come and go different times, you know, throughout the whole time. Then he would like sit, being quiet at times, watching a movie, wanting me to watch the movie, you know, and just doing little chanting sounds, you know.
Did you observe him watching?
Chanting sounds. And we know Dahmer, he just wanted somebody to sit there and not say anything and not do anything so he could do whatever he wanted to them. We know he tried drilling holes in people's skulls and pouring acid in their brains to try and make them catatonic and zombies. He tried all kinds of things, and then he just started killing them, and then keeping the bodies for a couple days and doing whatever he wanted with them, and just cuddling with next to a dead body for days, right? I mean, what the hell, right?
In the movie and how he would react to the movie?
Right, he would like just start rocking back and forth when he, you know, certain parts of the movie or whatever.
You have to say, what did he say, man?
It was like chanting in certain times and rocking back and forth.
Tell us about his chanting. What was that all about?
I'm not even sure, sir, but it was just like, I can't tell you the words. I couldn't understand what he was saying at that time.
That is horrifying, right? Oh, dude, oh my God. That has to, I'm sure that's gonna, I can't even explain it. Mr. Edwards, I'm sure he had to go through some major therapy, and probably still does, or, you know, that is just so crazy and horrifying.
Can you mimic him? How it sounded?
It was like a slow slur, like some of that nature, something close like that, I'm not sure.
Did it keep on for a period of time?
Off and on throughout the ordeal.
And how about the movement back and forth? How was that being effectuated?
Just like back and forth, he would do it every now and then. You know?
Just as you are rocking in your chair.
Like this.
And chanting.
And chanting.
Was there any parts of the movie that was going on that you saw that he said anything about?
It was like the part about the preacher. There used to be a preacher that had got possessed. And that it would seem like he was like interested in that part. That part had his attention more than anything. Yeah.
But tell us about what you mean by that. What impressions were made upon your mind when this was going on as to had his attention? How did he appear to you?
It appeared like Like it was like he wanted to mimic it or be like that part, you know, being demonized or whatever in that nature.
I'm sorry, I missed
Yeah, like he wanted that type of movie, that part, certain parts of that part interested him. You know, it was like he changed with it at times. Then he would get more aggressive, try to get me to handcuff myself, both hands, and he's told me it made him feel more dominant at that time.
Okay, did you and he move off of the bed at any time?
Yes, he wanted me to lay flat down, stomach down on the floor at that time.
Did you at any time go to the bathroom, use the washroom, prior to the time that he asked you to lay down on the floor?
No.
All right, tell us what happened how did that happen that he told you to lay down on the floor?
No, he told me to lay down, face down, put both of my hands behind my back because he changed again at that point, like he got more aggressive at that time.
Okay, now, but tell us, did he still have the knife out?
Yes, he still had the knife.
And what?
You can't get in a more vulnerable position than laying down on your stomach on the floor with both hands tied behind your back and some crazy ass dude with a knife is standing over you. You can't get more vulnerable, right? You're totally at the mercy. That has to be one of the most scariest things ever.
What did you do?
Okay, I kind of like laid on my sides for some reason. I guess God told me not to lay flat down or let this person handcuff me, so I didn't.
So you were trying...
Wow, so, yeah. Maybe God did he did the right thing. So he didn't. He laid on his side and wouldn't let him put the other handcuff on. I'm 100% sure that saved his life.
Trying to stop that from happening, but you got down on the floor.
Right.
What did he do?
He kind of laid across me, put his head across my chest at that point.
What was he doing with his head?
Pardon me?
What did it appear to you he was doing with his head? What was he trying to do?
Like he was listening to my heart, because at a point he told me he was going to eat my heart at that point.
And he didn't know it at the time, but Jeffrey Dahmer was literally going to eat his heart. If he would have put that other handcuff on, his heart would have been eaten. I'm certain of that.
Said he was going to eat your heart?
Yes, that's correct.
Did he still have the knife?
Yeah.
Where was the knife pointed?
When I was on the floor, he had it pointed at my groin area at that time.
One knife?
He had several, and then he slid one. I managed to slide one underneath the bed. And I guess during a point of time through an ordeal, he didn't know where the knife was, so I didn't know if he felt that was a threat or not.
So he still had a knife, you're on the floor. How long does he lay on top of you trying to hear your heart as you've described it?
Maybe a minute, minute and a half.
And then what did you do then?
I knew something was about to happen, so I suggested that I go to the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom at that time.
And what did he do?
He kind of guided me to the bathroom.
So when you say he guided, you still had hold of your handcuff?
Yes.
And you went to the bathroom?
Right.
Did you urinate?
Yeah.
Were you able to utilize your own zipper, or did he touch you at all?
Touched me in no way. Didn't attempt to look. He just held me in back. You know.
So in other words, he didn't try to look at what your penis looked like or anything?
Not at all.
So after urinating, did you think that you were going to be the victim of... Did he ask to engage in any homosexual acts with you?
None whatsoever.
Okay, so now you leave the bathroom and what happens?
Okay, then we go back into the bedroom. You know. It was like different time spans. We were talking about him losing his job. Then he would come to the person that I was first with, you know. And then at certain points he would change. You know, at first he was telling me about how people didn't care for him and things of this nature. And I was trying to comfort him, letting him know that I was a friend, you know, that I wasn't going to try to run away from him or nothing like that.
So, yeah, and then he tried to act like he was a friend, right? So he wasn't threatening. He told him he wasn't going to leave him, right? Because that's Jeff's biggest fear, people leaving him, right? That saved his life too. So he did everything right.
You were being cool.
I guess God, you can say that, because I had no control. It was just.
He's in survival mode, right?
I don't know.
Did this continue on for a long period of time during the night?
Yes, apparently so. Time seemed to, I don't know. But I stayed in there that long, so it had to be going on throughout the whole ordeal, which it was. So time just, it happened like that.
And all this time you're trying to hold him down?
Yeah, certain points, right.
How often would he go in and out of these moods?
Sorry, at the time spans I couldn't really tell you, but like he would, like, I guess if you want to put it together in time, every 30 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that, you know. And then he would have moods of being just silent, you know, and I wouldn't say anything, try to provoke him or say the wrong thing. I would be silent with him.
So
everything right.
you just let him be alone. Was that movie on the whole time, a long time?
It was on a pretty good period of time, yeah. And when it went off, I couldn't tell you.
Did he continue to chant from time to time?
Yes, it happened several times throughout the ordeal.
Now, when he would watch the movie, did you notice when he would go into this thing that you told us where he would really become fixed on the movie screen? What was happening? How often would that happen?
Throughout the movie, maybe every 15 or 20 minutes, and then he would turn around and try to ask me to put both of my hands behind my back, and I wouldn't, you know, do it. I would talk to him. I'd tell him, you can trust me, you know, you don't have to do this, and that would calm him down a little bit. You know?
He had the knife the whole time.
Right.
He's watching the movie, and he becomes very interested in the movie.
Right.
You don't do anything, just sit there.
Just sit there and be quiet.
And then he would start conversation with you again.
Yeah, he would fight like, you don't have to do this and that, you know. Then he told me at a point I was going to have to kill him, or he was going to have to kill me at one point.
Were you and he drinking during this time?
No.
So he wasn't running out, bringing you out and getting beers and coming back?
No, I would have been out the window at that point.
Sure.
He would have.
Did he, when he was fixed, I'm trying to get some words to understand, was he intoxicated?
He had been drinking, but as far as being intoxicated, he was not staggering or anything of that nature.
But you know that some people, when they have too much to drink, change their moods. Was that the kind of mood changes he was having, or a different kind of mood change?
I think this was like more of an inner mood change than an alcoholic mood change.
This was a crazy, psycho mood change, okay?
What kind of mood?
It's like
inner mood?
Yeah, person change, not alcohol change.
What did you think about this guy? What was going through your mind as to who you were sitting next to, who was doing all these things?
A bizarre individual, someone that was very confused at this time.
That's a good word. Bizarre individual, right? Super bizarre.
Now, there came a time when you went to the washroom again?
Right, I suggested, yeah, because he had started getting aggressive a little bit again. I suggested to go to the bathroom. He let me stay in there by myself while he stayed outside the door at that time.
And what happened then?
And then I told him, well, I was contemplating, I was asking God, shall I make my move now? And I was going to just jump out the window. But when I got out, for some reason, I asked, could I have another beer? Yeah.
And what did he do?
And he reaches over, he guides me over and reaches in and get a beer.
He still got you on the cuff?
Yeah. And then he tells me, I told him I want to sit in the front because it's an air conditioner. And I was just going to try to jump out the window or go for the door or whatever. And because the back bedroom didn't have an air conditioner, only in the front. So I suggested we sit on the couch. I had unbuttoned my shirt to try to make him feel more at ease. And then I just sat on the couch and he just started going out of himself again. Yeah.
Going out of himself?
Yeah, he was like paying me no attention at that time.
Like he wasn't there?
Yeah, he started the chanting again and it's like just sitting there, you know. And then I just, for some reason, I said, well, I need to go to the bathroom again, and he didn't follow me at that point. So I reached up, I got up, and then I hit him, and I ran out.
So you hit him?
Right.
Did you have any other belongings there?
I have my bag right there at the end of the couch. I sit in exactly the same place I sit when I went in there.
So when you got up, he let go of your cuff to let you go to the bathroom again?
He just let me stay there. I was going to go for the window. At that point, he didn't even have the cuff. It's like I wasn't even there anymore.
And when you saw that, what'd you do?
I just seized the opportunity. I said, well, at least I'm going to die trying. I'm not just going to sit here, you know.
What'd you do, son?
I hit him, and I ran towards the door, and he, like, was right there, tried to grab me, get me back in there.
And what happened?
Then I made it outside.
So he wasn't able to bring you back
Bring
in?
me back in there, no.
He tried?
He tried.
And as you left that apartment, as you got away from him, I'm going to ask you again, what impressions were made on your mind by the conduct of Jeffrey Dahmer, by the actions of Jeffrey Dahmer, by the manner, expressions, and conversations of Jeffrey Dahmer that you observed? Can you give us some words?
It's like I told the policeman that this freak, this crazy guy, was trying to hurt me, you know.
Freak. Crazy. And wow. So he took the opportunity, he hit him, he ran for the door. Jeff is running after him. He's got this freaking crazy killer, cannibal, all kinds of just crazy words to describe Jeff, running after him, trying to get him back in there. And if he would have got him back in there, I'm 100% sure he would have killed him right then, right? But he didn't let him handcuff both of his hands, right? He did everything right, and that's how we can hear his testimony, and I can make this video for you guys to hear exactly what happened inside that house. Wow. Hope you guys found that interesting. I did. I mean, it's the only guy that can tell us what it was actually like to be in Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment and get out alive. Hope you have a great day, guys. And until next time, True Crime King.